Alright, hello everybody, this is VideoGameWarlord, and as you can see today, we're doing some more Mechabellum. I'm going with the cost control specialist, and he's going with the supply spec. It doesn't show the icons up here, but the reason why I'm picking this game in particular to show you all today is because, one, this guy's a Twitch streamer apparently. Just Google his name and you'll find him. So I literally just got done watching his perspective of this match, which I don't usually have the opportunity of doing. So that was really interesting to see my opponent's perspective for once, and kind of what they were thinking and everything that they were doing as the game was going on. And the second reason why is because he was a tournament winner. So this was like, oh, can I, you know, I think he wasn't like first place, but I think he was second place, like in one of those mini tournaments. So I was like, okay, can I beat someone that's done really well in a tournament? You know, pump up the ego a little bit. So this freaked me out a little bit at first, because I thought that was just going to catch all my storm colors on the right there. It just ends up frying some crawlers though. And as you can see, he initially thought this was going to be like a Stormcaller war, but the thing is, you see these two Stormcallers that he has? He never gets more than that, he never upgrades them, and so it never really turns into like a Stormcaller war, right? Where you're just throwing missiles at each other. I pick up the Tarantula just to start dealing with this chaff, right? Just crawlers, so my Stormcallers aren't, you know, struggling to try and focus on them eternally. And with the fangs, these are gonna be super handy. I actually get 3 of these, 2 on the right, 1 on the left. That's gonna clean up all this chaff really nicely. And you can see those crawlers, they do their work. They tie up his stuff while my Stormcallers can just absolutely tear apart the rest of his army. The Wraith does a bit of early game work here, but he doesn't really utilize them to the best of their ability. And the way I mean that is, normally I think the best thing you can do with the Wraith is the Degeneration Beam. That is super powerful on it, from what I've seen. I don't really like the way it goes is you either get them highly upgraded and they become sort of this air tank, right? And you get the beam on them, which just absolutely nerfs your opponent's army, and it becomes a real struggle to deal with. That's also why I ended up getting the Phoenixes right here, just to deal with the race. No other reason for getting them. The missiles, he thought I was going to get the missiles too, but I had so many crawlers, it's like, how do I not go for the subsidized crawler, right? Because it's just free upgrades, right? Because over time, that just saves you so much money. So, you know, if you upgrade like 5 crawler units, that's 250 free credits that you're not paying for upgrading units. It doesn't, I don't really upgrade my crawlers all that much though. They just kind of end up being these, end up being chaff for his army to chew on. Here, I stay with my money. I go with efficient tech research while he goes, I was thinking of getting the amplifying core too. You can see it took me a bit long because I was debating it right there. But I'm really just focusing on just big bad army, just absolutely overwhelming them with just everything. He gets the crawlers in the center to try and draw my Stormcaller fire, but as you can see, that just gets chewed up instantly, and then they can start hammering the rest of his line, and then doing what they're meant to do once all that chaff is gone. Is just absolutely slamming his shields and just annihilating them. They're not very good at it because they're falling a bit short at the moment, but Stormcallers are absolutely excellent for just breaking through shields and just hammering these backline units. I get the Sabretooth just because I do think it's going to turn into like a Stormcaller War. That was like the one thing I was worried about. He ends up getting Scorpions himself, which I'm kind of fine with. I don't recall them being a particular problem in this game. I think if he'd upgraded the range, or he doesn't have artillery on him actually. Interesting. But yeah, I'm particularly fearful that this will turn into a Stormcaller War, and these crawlers in the center, I'm like, okay, I don't want my Stormcallers targeting that. So I just kind of put these in so I can clear his missiles, and I can just eliminate these guys really quick. See, so that first wave of Stormcaller shots just absolutely goes into where it's supposed to. So now I have crawlers that he has to deal with, and then I have a line of tanks that he has to go through, and my Stormcallers in the back, along with my Phoenixes, both which have extended range, right? Range is the best upgrade you can get for units in this game. Doesn't matter which unit it is, unless it's like Fangs or something like that. But just having those ranged upgrades is immensely powerful. I believe we both get the nano repair kits. I just throw it on this, just literal tank line, right? That's what this is. I was worried he was actually gonna get more race and finally pop the beam upgrade, but he never really does. But these Phoenixes are just nice because they clean up his race. He doesn't upgrade any of this stuff at all, which I think is a big flaw. Bit of a misplay on his part. Because one of the things I noticed was that he was... Yeah, I think when I was watching him, I think he did too much on the rapid resupply and stuff like the shields, right? It's like those are nice little combat tricks, but throughout the game, the more you spend on that, the more you lose in the long run, right? Because they're one-round solutions. They're not permanent. And you can just see, I just have enough. I don't even need to get more Stormcallers. I just have enough missiles that they overwhelm his missile defense, what little he has, and I can just chew everything. I believe this is the last round. I get the absorption module. He skips. Okay, interesting. Yeah, this is the last round. Okay, so I think he does a really big misplay here, and he says he's been getting his ass kind of kicked with these all night, but was the Mustangs. I think they heavily nerfed the missile interceptor on these guys, so it's really not worth it like it used to be. And I don't even use Mustangs for like chewing up chaff like crawlers anymore. So, and he puts so much money into upgrading these when he hasn't even chewed through my main line yet. But yeah, I think the Mustangs was a massive misplay on his part. As you can see, this first line slams right in his chaff, second volley. All these Mustangs, you can see, they're not shooting it down, right? There's still enough missiles getting through that they do their job. And the other thing is, I have a lot of tanks, if we haven't noticed. My Sabertooths and the Tarantulas, those Mustangs are not even tickling him. Like, they're not doing anything to him. And that's why I think that was the third reason why getting Mustangs was such a big misplay this round. Is because the reason why he gets them, they don't do their job nearly as well as they should have. And they're not good against any of my other units, really. So I just kind of cruise through. If I were him, I would have upgraded more of the beefy stuff. I think the Scorpions could have been a real threat, because those would have eliminated a lot of my crawlers. and actually had the firepower to blast through my tanks once they chewed through the crawlers. He never did anything with the storm crawlers. They just kind of storm crawlers. They just kind of sat there for most of the game. And he didn't get the beam upgrade on the race, right? Which I just ended up countering his race with my phoenixes anyways. Just outranging them. See? 160 versus 110. That's 50-meter difference, which is just devastating. What I did right, definitely one of the best upgrades is a subterranean blitz on the crawlers. Saves a lot more of them from being blown up by all this stuff. Getting all these saber-tooths and tarantulas. Oh, I want to go back actually. I've never used the spider mines before, but it wasn't this round, but the last round I get spider mines, right? Which I've never really gotten before, so I was kind of curious how they'd be used. Let's see how this goes. Okay. But the spider mines effectively act in the same way as my crawlers do. But, every 15 seconds, yeah, I keep generating them, which is the absolute nuttiest part to me, right? Like, anything that generates more and more free units that can just gum up what your opponents are targeting is very useful in this game. Okay. So as you can see, spider mines out, and ooh, those scorpions, instead of hitting my tanks, they hit the spider mines instead, not even hitting the crawlers first. And then, yeah, now my crawlers are able to just soak his stuff, and I've already chewed through all this chaff, and I can... Oh, goodness. Yeah, as you can see, though, he invested a lot into those Mustangs at the end. That's 3 Mustangs with the range enhancement and the missile interceptor. That was just not the play, unfortunately. I think if he'd actually tried to get into a Stormcrawler war with me, he would have done a lot better, because they would have started clearing out my crawlers better, I want to say. And it would have done a lot of damage to my tanky units here. And I do feel like marksmen were the correct response to go against the Phoenix. But the problem is he never upgrades them, right? They're stuck at level 1. And he doesn't get the electromagnetic shot, which would just absolutely burst their energy shields and nerf the tech of any other units that he'd hit with them. But otherwise, good games. Like I said, I really like this just because I could watch his VOD and see his whole perspective on the game. So, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you guys enjoyed this, and have a nice day.